Hey friends, I'm Diane and welcome to my Farmstead dream. Today I'm in the garden and I've been waiting to prune my tomatoes until I could do it on video just so y'all can see what I do. And I am no expert, I promise you that. I am still learning every single day about gardening, how to garden, what are the best gardening practices, just learning every single day. But I just wanted to share with y'all kind of what's working for me, or really and truly what has worked for me in the past, and in my experience, what little experience I have. The same things don't always work every single time or year after year. But anyway, I just wanted to share what I'm doing today in my garden and pruning the tomatoes while they're still small. Now, I watch a lot of videos, of course. I'm constantly watching videos on YouTube, learning, researching, reading as much as I can just to try and soak up every bit of knowledge and information that I can so that I can be better at what I do or at what I'm trying to do. And I watched a lady, I forget her name, but her channel is called The Gardenary, and her goal is to make gardening more ordinary. But anyway, I've heard conflicting information about pruning your tomatoes and the way you prune your tomatoes. One way that I've heard is to prune the suckers from your tomatoes, and I'll show you what those are. And that worked for me last year. I did well with that last year. And then I watched her video and she said, don't prune the suckers. Prune everything around the suckers because the suckers will become another stem, I think is what she said. I'll see if I can find the video and try and link it. I don't know if I can, but I will try. So anyway, we're going to do both today, and I'm going to do the tomato on the end the way that she said to do it, and the rest of the tomatoes I'm going to do the way that I did it last year because that's what worked for me. But I just want to try a different way and see which works better. So we'll just make that our little tomato pruning project this year and just see which one works better, or which way works better. So enough talking, let's get started. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is show you how I pruned my tomatoes last year, and then we'll do the Gardenary way on the tomato plant here on the end. That's the best way I think I can keep up with it to know which one I did differently. So I'm just going to do the one on the very end, and that way I'll know that that's the one we did like the Gardenary lady does. So for now, we're going to start with this one, which is next to the one on the end. Okay, so what I do when I prune my tomatoes is I'm going to trim everything off except for what's on the main stem, and that way the whole point of doing this is to make sure, well, it kind of helps with pest control because, sorry, I'm just trying to get this. Okay, when your tomatoes are low to the ground, the pests can get to them. Then they get wet when you water. I have, I don't know if you can see the soaker hose here, but I have the soaker hose here, so it doesn't get as wet, but it still causes disease and things like that. So I just try to trim up so that I know that, it's not going to be, the water's not going to be splashing up on the leaves because that will cause disease. And it also, it gets it further up from the ground so that pests on the ground, yes, they can still crawl up the stem, But what I'm saying is it helps. It helps with that. It also helps with airflow, because when your tomatoes start getting bigger, you know, they need the airflow. And if there's all kinds of branches and vines going everywhere, it kind of makes it a little more difficult for them to get the airflow that they need. So there are a lot of good reasons why you prune your tomatoes, and it kind of helps them to be more healthy. So this is the end product. You have the one main stem here, and then you have the few leaves at the top. Now I will continue pruning my tomatoes until they get up to here on the wire, not the wire, but on the, you know, they start lining up on the trellis is what I'm trying to say. So I will continue to prune them until they start vining up on the trellis. And then after that, I will continue to prune them. But I will prune probably all of the leaves from the bottom of the trellis down. Once they're tall enough to start climbing on the trellis, I'll prune all the leaves from here down, just to make sure, you know, we don't get the splash up from the water or the soaker hose, and it makes it a little harder for pests to get to them. So, and then with the clippings, I'm just going to leave the clippings in my garden because they will compost into the soil. I'm not going to leave them super close to my tomato plants. I'll spread them out through the garden. For right now, I'm just going to leave them in a little pile right here. But I will spread them out through the garden and just kind of let them compost down and add their own nutrients to the soil. So that's basically what I do to prune my tomatoes, or what I did last year to prune my tomatoes. And so as they grow, I will kind of give you an update, you know, on what I do to prune in the next pruning or what have you. So for now, that's how I do it. And we're going to go ahead and go to this little guy right here, and we're going to prune it the gardenary way. Okay, so I kind of want to show you, because not everybody knows what a sucker is. Okay, so, whoops, my camera fell. Okay, so here is your main stem that grew out, and then in what's called the armpit, this here is called the armpit, and you see this little shoot that's coming out here out of the armpit. Well, these are called suckers, and basically they call them suckers because they say they suck the life out of the plant. But the lady from the Gardenary channel says that it's quite the opposite. She says if you trim the main shoot and leave the sucker, it will become another vine that will fruit. And I don't know if you can tell. Let me see if I can get a little closer. Okay, I think that's as close as I can get. I'm trying to make sure that it's focusing well, but I don't think it is, so I apologize if it's not. But anyway, you can kind of see, I don't know how to explain it, but you can kind of see that this is, you know, a shoot that will produce. And the way I can tell is because it has all the little leaves bunched up here, and usually when the plant starts flowering, it starts flowering in the same area of these leaves that are bunched up. And then you've got the little, kind of like a little stem. Okay, let me see if I can show you. Do you see this little stem here that's kind of forked? Hold on. Okay, that's a little clearer. But if you look right here, you see that little fork there in the stem? Well, that is usually where you're going to see the flowers start budding. And your flowers are what is going to give you the fruit. So for this, the way the Gardenary does it, instead of trimming this one off, we're going to trim this one off. Okay, and we're going to leave that one. Now that's the way she does it in hers, and I will do that method on this one, on this tomato. for the whole season just to kind of see how it works. But for now, really and truly, I need to trim all of this. Let me show you. I need to trim all of these off in order to keep the pest control down, to have better pest control, to keep the leaves from getting wet from the soaker hose, and that sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and trim all of these, including the suckers, for today until they get tall enough to where I can start leaving some branches. But see, these are all the way down here in the ground, which just makes it a lot more susceptible to pests and bugs and things like that. And you can see on these leaves, they've been stuck in the ground and they're already starting to get some disease. Ooh, goodness. I'm curious. Okay, that's not critters. That's the fertilizer. I thought it was bugs. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim everything for now, just to make sure we get good pest control. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this sucker too. So basically, when I trim them, I just kind of leave these top few leaves here, and that will ensure that water splashing up. And it probably can still get on these leaves, but it will grow taller. And then once it gets tall enough, the water won't reach it, and you will achieve what you're trying to go for, to be able to keep your pest control in check and to make sure it doesn't get wet, and to help with diseases and pests and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to do one more just to kind of show you again one more time how I do it. And then I will prune all of them, and I'll come back and show you what they look like when I have them completely pruned. So we're going to cut these off here. All the ones at the bottom, especially any that are touching the ground, you want to trim those. And I just have these El Cheapo scissors that I got from my craft friend. Because I don't have any clippers yet. I'm going to get some. I need to get some good garden tools. But when you don't have it, you work with what you have. I'm going to go ahead and pull this sucker off from there. I don't know if y'all saw that. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, there's a sucker right here in the armpit of this tomato. So I'm just going to pinch that off. And that way, it allows this stem to continue growing and be the main stem that will produce fruit. Okay, I just wanted to show you this really quickly. This is a tomato that is growing like crazy, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's got some pretty thick vines growing from the main stem, and you might kind of panic when you start cutting those off because some of them already have blooms on them. They're getting ready to fruit, but really and truly, you don't want them to fruit yet when they're this small. You want them to grow bigger and be larger, more productive plants. So if you want more in the end, go ahead and prune off the flowers, even as painful as it is, because that's a tomato. So go ahead, like this one, it has the little fruit there. So I'm probably going to go ahead and just trim that off, because I don't want it to start producing tomatoes yet. I need it to get bigger. See how small it is? It's not even up to here. And there's probably a foot, maybe a foot and a half between the ground and the bottom of the trellis. So it's not quite ready to start fruiting yet. I don't need it to fruit just yet. But what I really wanted to show you with this one is just how thick this is. And so you can see that pruning it will help with the airflow, and that makes for a healthier plant. And I don't know if you can see on these leaves, this is from water splashes, and things like that. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to share with you that it's okay to prune them even if they have flowers on them. See, like this one, go ahead and prune those until they start getting bigger. Now, these are indeterminate tomatoes, which means they will just keep growing. They don't grow to a certain point and stop, which is what determinate tomatoes do. But these are indeterminate, so they'll grow 10 feet, if you have the room for them to. So you want to make sure that they do have good airflow. Okay, so I am just going to go ahead and end the video here so that I can continue down the row and finish pruning everything. And then maybe I'll try to take a few pictures and put them on the end of the video just so you can see the finished product. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all. And I'm going to be making a few videos today. So if you see a few videos of me with the same clothes on, that's why. But they won't be, of course, released all in the same day. So that's what I'm saying. You'll see a few videos of me in the same outfit, same hairdo, whatever. But anyways, I'm enjoying spending some time in my garden this morning. It's peaceful out here. It's quiet. The birds are chirping, and it's absolutely lovely. Even though it's not sunny, it's a little bit cloudy, and it's kind of a gloomy looking day. But it is what you make it, and I'm just going to make it a glorious day. So I hope you have a glorious day too. I hope you get to get out in your garden today and get a little garden therapy. And I will see you in the next video. Big hugs.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold